Hello, my name is Sebbi and welcome back to the coffee break in Minecraft. Today is Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. Okay, apparently we had a skeleton either right at our doorsteps or outside of the premises. But the skeleton seems to have expired, which is good. So, yeah, I have lots of sugarcane harvesting ahead of me. But first, I need to feed this little guy. It is time for a salmon. Yeah, let's grab this singular salmon. Cat, are you excited for your favorite fish? Yes? You are excited? But, okay, you start to look excited. Here you go. And you start to purr right away. A very low purr. But it increases in strength, yeah, you're right. One first has to chew before purring. Not that you, in the end, choke yourself or something like that. That would be bad. Alright, now the cat can do rest and digest. And I can do some sugarcane harvesting after finishing my usual morning tour through the park. Need to take in a little bit the nature, need to enjoy the early morning sunlight. That's always a good start into the day. And yeah, so I'm ready. I'm ready to head out. Just make sure that there are no creepers. There are indeed no creepers, which is good. Let's open the gates. Jump on the horse. And yeah, get to work. Speaking of getting to work, work is kinda, well, not busy this week, but kinda exhausting to some extent. I already started exhausted into the week, so after this kinda energy draining workshop on Saturday, social energy draining workshop, I didn't feel like, okay, I recovered a lot on Sunday. Felt still like, okay, still exhausted. That's going to be an interesting start of the week. And yeah, it didn't help much that Monday and Tuesday ended with some overtime, so basically feeling still exhausted, still feeling socially exhausted. On Monday we got an emergency like 20 minutes or so before the end of shift, which resulted in 30 minutes overtime. Yesterday we were already at the station, we were like 10 minutes or so left until the end of shift. And then we had to get out again to get one patient from the doctor's office to the hospital. The patient was announced way more critical than they actually were, so we got there. We were even sent there with signal and get there as fast as possible. We get there and basically the patient was somewhat super stable, so we were also wondering why does this to happen, why we, and yeah, even my colleague was kind of annoyed as they wanted to do something with their friends, and for a second day in the row, didn't work out due to the overtime. So yeah, the unpredictability of this is kind of annoying, especially annoying when, like me, you want to regain some energy, you want to recover, but instead of having then time for yourself at home, the time is no, it's gone. It's gone for things where you then ask yourself, okay, why was this now an emergency again? Why we? And yeah, so I still feel kind of exhausted. Doesn't help either that with the time difference to Tokyo, in in my shifts this week being scheduled in a way that there's basically not much overlap with the spare time of my partner, so we can get only short calls in or so, and my partner really helps me to regain energy, to calm down after chaotic days. But with the current shift plan for this week, there's not much time for actually having calls, and it's kind of new and unusual for me to really think like, okay, I'm totally missing the conversation with a person, and not like even getting to a point like, okay, I need some alone time. I need some me time. When I get now enough me time, or when I get me time at all, I just think like, hey, why can't this be together time? And yeah, that's also a super wholesome but new feeling to me. I'm still I enjoy this so much. I'm super happy. It's the most wholesome feeling ever, but at the same time, it's so new to me, and it's strange in some ways getting used to it. But on the other hand, I'm just enjoying it. I'm just happy, and it's like, okay. Besides being socially exhausted and the unpredictability at work and so on, everything is good so far. Everything is very good. It's more than fine. So yeah, but I just noted that, okay, in these days when there's not much time, like all the weeks before, we had some time to somehow spend together in a pool. It's okay. That's something is missing. Something is not as good as could be, and that's also wholesome on a new level. But yeah, that's basically the summary of everything that happened. Actually, I haven't talked about bouldering. Bouldering was nice. Bouldering was really nice. I've been bouldering, I don't know, until COVID hits us. Then maybe a bit as the rules during the pandemic got lowered a bit. But I don't really recall. So basically, it's been a while since I last bouldered. Then early February, I went indoor climbing, so being secured with a safety tether with my partner, and got back into climbing again. But I haven't had much practice, is what I want to say. But still, going bouldering felt good, and since it was not a big group, we were just 3 people in total. There was not much recovery in between attempts of completing a route. But that was exactly what I wanted. I just wanted to stay there for a bit more than an hour, and that's what I did. And with this not much recovery time in between making attempts of completing a route, it felt it really got my arms and fingers and all the relevant climbing muscles exhausted in. Yeah, okay. I start to accumulate some good amount of paper, which is nice. I exhausted my muscles in a good way, so that it felt like perfect. Okay, I'm now good to leave. Did some pull-ups after, which also felt kind of nice. And yeah, for my skill level, I felt I did well for on routes that are appropriate for my skill level. So I think they go now in the bouldering gym to, I think 8 is the highest tier of routes. I felt kind of confident with routes of the difficulty level 3. Some 4s were possible. And I feel that's kind of good for not being into this sport for quite some time, for years basically. And yeah, so that was nice. That was really nice. Also, it was interesting as this bouldering gym still had my account. And on my account, there are still 8 times of bouldering left. I currently do have a different subscription with which I entered the gym. But that's cool. That's cool that I still have 8 times of bouldering left. And I thought like, hey, Sebbi of the past already paid for it for Sebbi in the future when I cancel my current subscription. So that was fun. This was fun to find out that, okay, for years I had currency basically in that gym and I completely forgot about it. Yeah, I guess that's everything. So I can finally answer Matthew's question. Let's get it out. All right. Do you sometimes struggle to keep interest in a project? Like, I have so many ideas of things I want to do, but I'm never able to be consistent. I am amazed that you're so dedicated to running, the coffee break, and other things. Like, I wanted to program a little game for fun, write a blog or a short story, but I never find the way to complete them. It's also even frequent with games. Do you have any tips? I mean, you're first of all, you're talking about different kinds of activities, so to say, like coffee break, running, training. Those are things that happen on a periodically basis. So it's different to, let's say, play certain games. I mean, you can say, okay, playing games happens also on a periodically basis, but it's I think still different as the content itself changes a little bit. And so there's on the one hand a little bit the question between the frequencies of the things, like programming also. I know this myself. When I want to try out something with programming or so, I start and then I lose track, mostly because my programming time or development time or whatever is getting cut short by work things or by other things, and then I completely forget about it, return to it, and yeah, basically have to start from scratch because I have to get into it from new or so. And yeah, so this might be a little bit tricky. What a little bit helps is, I mean, especially with sports, coffee break, reoccurring things, to get yourself used to see it as some kind of habit. It's like, especially training for me is like brushing teeth basically by now. So it's just a thing that has to happen once a day, twice a day. Talking about brushing teeth, and it's just some kind of non-optional thing that is so ingrained in my brain that it becomes some kind of automatism. And I feel that like this is one thing that is kind of important to be consistent with certain elements. Also connecting it to a greater goal, a greater meaning. I mean, like, should training got is some kind of habit of something I have to do on a daily basis. But at the same time, it's also a thing like, okay, with training, I can get my body in shape so that I can try out new stuff, get into new stuff I find interesting, intriguing, whatever, and without basically much consideration of, okay, what do I need to do? I basically like to have some good level of physical fitness that allows me to simply try out new stuff at a low risk. Like in December last year, as I tried out the aerial training with straps and so on, I think it felt so good or interesting and, well, not easy. It never was easy, but it felt like, okay, I can try out new things there in a very challenging way. But since my body itself is already used to physical training and is used to basically go through physical stuff, it didn't feel like, okay, that's I don't have the muscles to do things, basically. So my body is ready to support me trying out new stuff, and that's basically one of the greater goals. With the coffee break, it's like, I mean, it's a video log, it's a video diary, it's basically journaling to some extent. And journaling is also a good thing to get things out of your mind, to discuss things that are on your mind, to just get them out of your brain, structure them in a little bit way, thus allowing your brain to process them better or in a more easier way. So I feel like there's also some greater good involved in the entire aspect of doing the coffee break on a regular basis. So yeah, I guess you need, on the one hand, really like some kind of goal. You need to, in the beginning, that especially with sports and so on, be consistent with the training, that you really start to develop this habit. Like in the beginning, it's like, okay, I have to do this. I must do training. I must force myself to do training also. Initially, there's definitely the motivation of, hey, I see the greater good, but then comes the point where I guess most people, and maybe it's even you, that's one of those things for you, start to struggle and start to lose interest, because it starts to get kind of maybe boring, stressful, whatever. But when you then just force yourself to keep going, it eventually will start to become a regular thing, a thing you do on a regular basis, and in combination with then seeing and feeling maybe some positive effects of doing it, like journaling here in the coffee break, or like doing training, being able to do new stuff, different kinds of physical activity in an easier way without thinking too much, okay, I should be careful because otherwise I risk injuries. So sure, you still risk injuries if you do new stuff and you are not properly into it, but with enough muscles and training and so on, your body can easily deal with different kinds of stimuli and get used to them. So this definitely also helps to keep consistent. And then maybe this is the difficult part, because that's not a thing you can train or practice. You need some kind of autism or something like that, where you basically need somewhat of a life with routines, where just having a certain routine you can go through every day makes your life feel better or so, where you have maybe some recovery, some regain of energy or so, simply by going through routines, or by feeling less stressed when you have certain things you go through each day. And I think that's also a big part for me to have, to some extent, somewhat of a structured day or so, structured week with certain routines I can execute and be happy with. Also, don't fall off the edge here. But yeah, that's not a tip basically. It's just the thing that maybe contributes to me having somewhat of an easier time to get into certain things. But at the same time, I know things so well you've described. I mean, I get interested in a certain game, or like to program something, and then I lose track, I lose interest, or I get distracted. I mean, even here on the good old YouTube, I started the Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord Let's Play. Okay, that's maybe a little bit different thing, because my interests shifted. But even there, then interests shifted, and okay, currently the season is on hold and on pause. But yeah, even with other things, like, okay, I want to read something, do something certain. Even there, I have the exact same issues as you have. But let's just rehydrate. But yeah, that's maybe a little bit of a. It's because those tasks are different, those activities are different, and are not like on a frequent basis. On the other hand, you can also say, I want to have a frequent reading time a day. I want to have 1 hour of reading each day. And when you then start to make this a habit, that basically reading for 1 day becomes an integral thing of your daily life, then you won't struggle so much with continuing to read or so. So yeah, I guess all comes down to try to make the things you want to do, running, programming, gaming, whatever, to a habit. Try to form it as a habit that just happens automatically, like brushing your teeth or so, that you must have this in your in your life, and then I think you will also stick with it and keep going. And it also definitely helps when you need some kind of routine or so in your life with certain aspects, and when there's also some kind of release or positive outcome of doing these things. So yeah, try to make it a habit. Try to structure your life a bit with those activities if this helps to you. Have some as motivation, some overarching goals that might help you, or to see some positive effects. I think those are my tips. Those are my tips, and become autistic or so. But yeah, I guess that's my answer. I hope it helps to some extent. And yeah, I guess that's it. That's it with this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will be joining me next time. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, my name is Sebbi. See you!